You can download the screening interview template from our templates library, so you should do that. But the screening interview can be completed over the phone in 10 to 15 minutes. It's very quick. It can be completed face to face as a quick meet and greet. In other words, hey, come on by, let me give you a quick 5-minute tour, just want to shake your hand and say hello. But I find when I use the screening interview, I know quickly if I want to move to the next step with the candidate. So I don't have to commit to a big long interview where I know in 5 minutes this is not the right candidate for us, but I feel obligated to sit with them for 20 or 30 minutes to go through an interview. That's what I want to avoid with the screen interview. I just want to get a quick blink of the candidate and find out if I want to move further with that person. I'm a big fan of the idea of the 10-minute meet and greet or the 5-minute meet and greet. The idea is I just say on the phone to the candidate, hi, I just wondered if you could stop by just to shake a hand, want you to see our premises, and just quickly meet some people here. It's very, very quick. Now, the nice thing about this is if you meet that candidate and you like the person, you can ask them to stay longer. So 5 or 10 minutes could turn into a 20 or 30 minute more in-depth screen if you like the candidate. If you feel within 5 minutes, I just don't see this person as being a fit, because often you can tell that quickly, you're not committed to any more. So you don't have to go through a big long charade and sit down for a 30 or 40 minute interview when you feel like this is really not the person. Why am I sitting here wasting their time and mine? That's what the screen is designed to do. Whether it's in person or over the phone, let me give you the screen questions that I like to use. First question is, what are you really good at doing? Give me some examples. I want them to be specific. I don't want them to just say, oh, I like dealing with people. What exactly do you like about dealing with people? And give me examples of how you've used that in the past. Do you like performing for them? Do you like selling to them? Do you like serving them in a more reactive capacity? But I want them to tell me everything that's great about themselves. Second question is, what are you not good at doing? Give me examples, things that you shouldn't be doing more of. What are areas of weakness, dim spots? And I don't want to skip over that. I really want to know, what are those things? Do they lack organization? Do they not like talking in public? What are their areas of weakness? What are their career goals? Where do they want to go? And I find this a very useful question because it tells me, do they want to use me as a stepping stone, which might be fine, or could they be with me for a long time? What are their career goals? And by the way, I like to have people who do have career goals, even if they don't necessarily include me, because I think if you have goals, that's good. You're a person who's going somewhere. Next, I ask, how will your last up to 3 bosses rate you out of 10 when we talk with them? So I make it clear that if we go further in the process, I will want to be talking with their past bosses. And that's like truth serum. They're going to be much more inclined to answer honestly if they know that I'm going to be talking to the bosses and say, you know what, this person said you would rate them a 10 out of 10. And they know that, no, that person would give me a 6. They're more inclined to be honest about it. And then I say, why are you leaving your current job? What is it that is not right about that job? And why us? What interests you in working for us? When I'm asking those screening questions, I'm focusing on specifics, not generalities. Like I said, I don't want them to say, oh, I like working with people. I want specific duties that they really enjoy, that give them life, that give them energy. And I want them to brag about themselves a little bit. I want to know, what do they like doing? Specific duties, please. Specific things you did throughout your day, things that made you feel energized. Now, here's a tough question that people try to skirt virtually every time I ask it. And maybe you have had this experience too. What do you not like doing? Things that make you feel tired, things you're not good at. Finally, I've started asking this question in a different way, rather than asking what their weaknesses are, because virtually every time their weaknesses are, oh, I work too hard, I care too much, I take work home with me, I'm a giver, all these kinds of things. It's like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So I say, I'm looking for areas of weakness, not because I'm wondering if you have weaknesses, because I know that I do, and I know that every one of our employees does. I'm asking to find out if you have self-awareness and know what your weaknesses are. So they know that if they can't come up with anything, this is not a win for me. I'm not looking for them to spin away all of their weaknesses and turn them into strengths. This is important to me. If a candidate has no self-awareness, I feel concerned right away. And then what are their career goals? Where do they want to be in 3 to 5 years? A very enlightening question. Now the question, ratings from past bosses. Let them know that you'd like to speak with past bosses. So you'd like them to put them in touch with them. Now, often you'll run into, well, you know what, the place that I work, they don't give referrals. So they'll only confirm, that I work there from this date to this date. But who will a boss give a referral for? They'll give a referral for an A player that they thought was amazing, that they mentored. They'll even do it out of work hours oftentimes because they really want to help that person. Who will they not give a referral for? And who will they insist, no, we can only give their dates of employment? They'll give those for B, C, and D players because they're afraid of legal action and they're afraid of hurting their careers. But it's almost a sign. If a boss absolutely will not talk about a person, to me, that's a sign that very likely that person was not an A player. Beware if they can't give connections to past bosses. Watch for too many bosses who've moved out of the country, who have an unlisted number, they don't own a phone, they've died. Okay, these things happen. But if there's a pattern of you can't get a hold of any of my past bosses, I feel concerned. Here's what the screening interview tells you. You'll know if you want to pursue the candidate or not. And you won't have wasted 30 or 40 minutes playing charades in an interview when you know almost right away that they're not a fit for you. You'll get a quick overview of the candidate's areas of strength and weakness, and you'll know the candidate's career direction. Now, here's a little secret about the screen interview. For a more entry-level job, that might be enough. That might be your interview because it's really pretty thorough. If you stretch that screen out a little bit for a more entry-level position, that might be enough to give you an indication of whether you want to hire or not. So the screen is really useful. Let's recap what you've learned in this module. You've learned what a screening interview is. You've learned how to conduct a screening interview, and you've learned what the screening interview tells you about a potential candidate.